everybody, it's Saratoga. So I wanted to make this extra audio recording for you guys because people have been asking me if I could share more about Telstar, who Telstar is. Telstar is the group of beings that I channel and been working with for well over 30 years. So anyway, it would take too long to add it to one of my regular videos, so I thought I would make this audio recording for you guys and explain a little bit more. So Telstar is a group of, well, actually 6 beings if you count Michael or Archangel Michael, as you know, and along with 5 others. Now, I'll explain each one of the individual beings to you in a moment, but I want to share a little bit about how Telstar came together. So basically, as you know, Archangel Michael absolutely adores this planet and every living thing and person on it. He's played a major role in Earth for a very long time. And he's not limited just to planet Earth because, our planet is like a little speck, right? It's very tiny. But we need a lot of help here. So what he did is he actually commissioned this group from outside of our universe to come and work together with him in a very specific way in terms of supporting anyone here who chooses to evolve into a higher level of being. Now, why would it need to come from outside of this universe? Well, that's because this universe suffers from, I will call it, the plight of duality. Yes, there are various levels of duality, various dimensions of duality, but the universe as a whole exists in a dualistic state, which is incredibly problematic because it kind of creates this closed loop that's very hard to get out of. So he wanted to bring in an energetic influence that was not in any way subject to this state of duality. So that's the simple story of the origin of Telstar. So what he did is he commissioned this group of beings, and I'll tell you who they are as I said in a moment, to come and work together with him in a very specific way. So Michael's association with this group is very different than what you may be used to hearing about Archangel Michael, although you will definitely see the parallels. But this is a very specific kind of work that is completely focused on evolution out of duality altogether. We're not talking about 5D, 6D, or any of that. 12D. We're not talking about all these different Ds, if you know what I mean. No, we're talking about the final goal is to restore our original state of being, which does not include a state of duality. And that state is just beautiful, beyond your wildest imagination. So that's where we're going in each one of us as individuals in our evolutionary journey. Now, things are especially difficult here on planet Earth because so many people believe that we need duality. People might think, well, we need less of duality, maybe a little less of it, and at its extreme manifestation, but we don't need it at all, you guys. It does nothing but cause trouble. And maybe I'll do one of my regular on-camera videos talking about this. I think that would probably be a good idea. But for right now, let me focus on who is Telstar. So Telstar is a word that is only used specific to this work that we're doing here on planet Earth. It's not like, oh, Telstar is always Telstar out in the universe. No, this is a word that is simply used to identify this very specific work. Now, Telstar emerges from a larger force that, in terms of our English language, would be called Interuniversal Confederation of Communication and Evolutionary Processes. Again, this is the larger place from which Telstar emerges that is, again, specific to evolving out of duality. And we would use the initials IUCCEP for a shorter way of saying that. But that is not something that really addresses us specifically here on Earth. It is Telstar and this group of beings that specifically address our situation here on planet Earth. So now there are 5 beings in addition to Michael who are doing this work. And I'm going to tell you each of their names, and I will share with you a little bit about their nature because they're all absolutely incredible. Now, the first being I'll share with you, her name is Mirabai. Now, I can see all of them. I have interdimensional sight, so I've seen every one of them. I've interacted with them. When I see them, you guys, they appear more real than this reality that we're all in. We live in a reality of reflected light. So things are very dim here. But when you get to these, when you get out of duality and you get into reflected light is actually a matter of opposition, but that's another topic. When you get into these higher levels of existence, everything is a manifestation of light, but it has substance. It's not, see, we normally think of light as being sort of like, etheric, right? Or not really solid, but this kind of light that I'm describing is so substantial. It's literally indescribable. And the reason I think it's indescribable is because we don't have any reference points in our experience here on Earth for this light. So this is what they're literally made of. And the beauty and the gorgeousness is indescribable. So Mirabai, she's very, very powerful, but she's very understated. She's very sweet. She's very soft-spoken, but she's gorgeous. She would be dressed in white and just like diamonds. She makes me, I think of a diamond when I think of Mirabai. But she's very powerful and very soft-spoken, and I think the reason she is so soft-spoken is because she is so powerful. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit more about her again in a minute. So let's go to the next one. The next being would be Adam. Adam is, I always think he has an energy, a vibration that reminds me of a majestic mountain. Like, he's so strong, but he's so kind. He's so, man, I feel like the words just fall flat when I try to describe these beings to you. They're all physically gorgeous because they are who we will be when we are evolve out of this dualistic state. It's not like they're better than us. They're not, they're more evolved souls. We don't believe any of that nonsense about evolved souls. That's another topic. I have so many topics I could share with you guys. Maybe I should do more of these little chats. Let me know if you want me to. Anyway, so Adam he has such a high vibrational frequency. It actually took a long time before I could spend a lot of time with him because it was so intense. But he's so kind. He's so incredibly loving, just beautiful. I'm going to use that word a lot, I guess. Okay, so the next one would be John. John is like the extraterrestrial master. Like he knows everything about the extraterrestrial universe. And it's not like he's not going to sit there and tell you about it because that's not his purpose here. That's not any of their purposes here to tell you, well, there's this species and there's that. That doesn't have anything to do with the work he's doing here. So he's not going to be talking about that. Now, he has talked about the fact that we are not in a very good place when it comes to interacting with any extraterrestrial life forms. And he has talked about how to maybe improve that in ourselves, right, in the past. But he doesn't talk about it that often because he's more focused on the specific area that we're all working in together. Okay, so then we have Sanjaya. Now, Sanjaya and John are actually mates, but they don't seem very much alike entirely. Sanjaya, oh my gosh, you guys, she is so amazing. Now, let me just, as an aside here, let you know that in the past, I did live channeled events and I channel them individually. I do not channel them as a group. And we used to do these live events. I am a full body channel. I have to talk to you guys about how I feel about channeling sometime too, because channeling is something that's a little peculiar to planet Earth, because there's so much that these beings cannot come here as they are. It's not possible because of the kind of dimension we're in, the vibration we're in, and all of that. So this was organized so that they could come in a full body channel. Why? So that they could, as much as is possible here, allow people to feel their vibration and their energy and come into resonance with it. Not to notice something about them, but to notice something about themselves. Because I feel like from all those live events that we've done in the past, I feel like people were so drawn to Telstar, to these various beings. The reason they were drawn, because they recognized something in them that kind of felt like home, that felt more real than the way we live here. And I know a lot of times they would say, I used to record all of those channeled events because I don't remember when I channel them. I don't remember what happens until I get back. Someone either has to tell me or I have to have a recording of it. But anyway, back to Sanjia. So she could be very, very entertaining. I mean, very entertaining. And anybody who's listening to this who's ever spent time with her, you know exactly what I'm talking about. She's absolutely incredible, amazing. They all have an amazing sense of humor. Okay, so let me move on to Isadora. Isadora is the most beautiful, gracious, elegant being, yet can also be quite funny as well. They each have a very unique personality. And I think together it's such a wonderful combination of energy and communication. Now, they have said many times when they have channeled through this body, it's just channeling such a weird word. I don't know why, but I think it's a weird word. Again, that's another topic. But anyway, they have said in the past, we could sit here and not say a single word and you would still get the communication, because the main communication is resonance and recognition. It's not about remembering. I've got to talk about that to you guys sometime too. This remembering thing that's in vogue right now. That's not accurate, you guys. And I'll tell you, I don't want to talk about it today, but maybe on another occasion, I'll tell you why that is absolutely, totally inaccurate. It's going to blow your mind when I tell you, because it's just crazy that people think that's the goal, to remember. Okay. Anyway, no, it's recognition, resonance, and knowing, pure, direct knowing. When we come into resonance with an energy, things activate inside of us. And that's really the purpose of why they would come in this full body channel way, because, resonance tells you the truth. Energy doesn't lie. Frequency doesn't lie. And the other advantage to resonance and frequency is that it supersedes the language of words. It's more powerful. It's more all-encompassing. It's more direct. It's more precise. It's more accurate. So they would have that energy, and then, of course, they would talk the whole time. So you get the resonating energy in their words, you get the resonating energy in their physical presence, and it was just really a wonderful thing. Now, you might wonder, well, Saratoga, if this is so great, why aren't you doing this right now? Well, we moved everything online, and that changed a lot of things. But I don't think that's the main reason. I think a lot of the reason, and I'm not saying this will never happen again. I don't know. I'm always open to whatever is best. But there's so much chaos right now in the whole spiritual community, and people are very easily triggered. They're very opinionated as opposed to being open. I don't know. I've been doing this for so long, I sometimes wonder if there really are genuine spiritual seekers anymore, or if people are just looking for stories that make them feel good. I don't really know. But anyway, it's something I'm always open to. We'll see. I still talk to them myself. I interact with them all the time. I don't interact with them very often as a group. There's only been a handful of times when all of them have been in a room with me together. And let me tell you, that's pretty intense. Okay, that's intense in a good way, but still it's a lot. So generally, if I interact with them, which is visual, I don't do the download thing. Okay, I don't do that. I'll just have a conversation just like I would have if I was sitting in a room with one of you guys. And usually it's just one of them. Very occasionally there might be two of them together, but usually it's just one at a time. And that is a beautiful experience. And I just love seeing these guys because their beauty is, we have such a tendency here on earth to want to compare ourselves to everyone else. And it's not about comparison. It's about seeing who we are. This is who we are. This is who we are meant to be. That's what they're showing us. Like, hey, you guys are this. When you evolve out of this dualistic state, this is going to be who you are too. It's amazing. Now, I also want to share with you my role with them, because some of you may know that I am a walk-in. And what I'm going to do for you guys, because my story is also very extensive, very in-depth, I'm going to put a link in the description. I have a playlist on YouTube. I did a 3-part video series quite a while ago, just telling my story. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link in the description below this audio quote video. And if you want to go watch that, you can learn all about how I came here, how this all happened with me. But I consider myself to be equal to them. I certainly don't say on a physical level I'm equal to them, because I am still in an earthly body, and we all know how these bodies are, right? They can be problematic, but they're also beautiful at the same time. They're extremely intelligent. They're extremely wonderful. Yeah, so that's a whole thing in and of itself. But right now, it's basically I'm the one that's mostly communicating their messages, which is also my message too, because we're not coming from the latest, greatest interpretation of stories about planet Earth and all the stuff you hear on the internet. We're not coming from that place. We are coming from a place of basic, fundamental principles, the principles of evolution as it really exists. Okay, I mean, this isn't about, Earth is a school, we're all here to learn, we're all here to become better people, and all of that. It's really about context. Like, what is the context within which you are attempting to evolve? So our context is who we are meant to be, having evolved out of duality. Our context is not the context of this universe. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. And that's really good, because from that experience, from that understanding, you can derive knowledge and experience that also explains a lot of what's going on here. You get a viewpoint that is accurate from a place that has nothing to do with duality. And that allows you to be able to see so much more clearly what is actually going on here. It enables you to see what works, what doesn't work, why it's not necessary to follow the crowd. If you've been following me, I'm sure not following the crowd. Like, yeah, that's for sure, right? But it gives you a perspective. And I think one of the problems that we see with people's interpretation of the purpose of life on Earth being to learn in a school and things of that nature, I think the problem with that is you're still trapped in this dualistic state. You're trying to evolve out of duality from the principles that create duality. And there are people who validate duality, seriously validate it. It is necessary. It is important. We need it. We need the contrast. We need love and hate and, all the rest. But that's not true. So how would I know that? How would I know that that's not true? I would know it because my reference point is not coming from a dualistic universe. My reference point is from outside of that situation. So when I share things with you guys, that's where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from the same reference points that you're probably hearing other people speak from. So yeah, that's the basic, those are the basics of who we are, why we're here, and what is basically going on. And before I close, I just want to say, I hope you will watch the videos where I shared my story, because I want you guys to know that so much went into my being the channel for these beings. On a physical, mental, emotional level, a lot went into that. 10 years worth went into that. The story is even longer than what I tell in that playlist I'm going to share with you. It's a very in-depth, we took this very, very seriously, you guys. This was not some little thing that just happened one day and all of a sudden, oh, I'm channeling these beings. It wasn't, no, this was a tremendous amount of work and preparation that went into this situation. So, but anyway, I think my story is pretty fascinating. I mean, that's what I've been told anyway. So you might want to go and check that out. And I think I'll close here because I can go on for a very long time. And I think you guys probably, I think people like the shorter videos a little better. Anyway, I really kind of like this format as an occasional thing to do in addition to my regular videos. I hope you guys like it. I like the casualness of it, the informality of it. It's kind of a nice change. And yeah, so let me know what you think. And if you have any other questions, you can leave it in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Sending you so much love. Namaste.